and welcome to Interviews from My Hometown. My name is Seth, and today we have on the show Grant. Grant, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much, man. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm super
Awesome.
stoked to have you on the show. And Grant, could you give a brief description of yourself?
Yeah, I love Jesus. I love the outdoors. I love being with people and spending time with people and just having fun. That's a
Yeah,
little brief, just stoked on
awesome.
doing fun things.
How long have you lived in the greater Wenatchee area?
I have lived here my entire life.
Okay.
So that would be, oh gosh, I have to think about that, 25 years. So yeah, I was born and raised here.
Awesome. So what did the early life look for you? I mean, like sports, extracurricular activities, that sort of thing.
Yeah, early life. Well, I grew up with like four brothers, uh, so things were kind of rowdy, but in a good way, fun. Um, did play sports, uh, like soccer, baseball, a little bit of like football and stuff, but that kind of really wasn't my thing. I was more into like skating, climbing, and mountain biking and stuff. But soccer was a fun sport that I really loved as growing up as a kid.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Um, so who are you staying with through this quarantine deal? Are you getting annoyed by the people you're staying with?
I'm currently staying with my parents.
Okay.
And I mean, it's definitely had its challenges, but it's definitely been good too. So since I moved back to Washington State, I've been staying here with them. So
Awesome. Um, so where were you living before or where'd you move to for a while before you came back?
kind of been all over, but the last most recent place was in North Carolina.
Okay.
So I lived down there for 2.5 months for school.
Awesome.
So
And what were you going to school for?
that was a discipleship school.
Awesome.
Like it was a head to heart school.
Okay. Awesome.
So with the Lord, yeah.
Nice. So what do you like to do on a daily basis?
On a daily basis. That is a great question. Um, it changes, but on a daily basis, like if I got to choose what I wanted to do
Yeah.
every day, definitely hang out with people um, and the Lord, or doing something like active outdoors, whether that's like surfing or climbing or just being paddling out on the river. Uh, that's kind of what I would like to do on a daily basis. Some physical activity
Awesome.
with people. So yeah.
Perfect. So, what would you say some of your favorite spots around town are? Like restaurants, favorite hiking spots, any of those sort of things?
Ooh. Restaurants. I really like Lamolo's. Lamolo's is a good good hidden gem.
Yeah.
Saddle Rock is another one. Uh, and then spots around Wenatchee,
Yeah.
just in the area.
Yeah, just in the area.
Ooh, I don't know if I could tell you those, Seth, and they wouldn't be. No, just kidding. Man, there's actually this really sweet viewpoint. Um, excuse me, in East Wenatchee that I really like to go kind of just chill and read or like journal. Um, I've actually recently have loved taking my paddleboard and paddling along the Columbia and going into the estuaries out there and then
Yeah.
up into the mouth of the Wenatchee River where it meets the Columbia. Recently, those have been kind of my hidden fun gems.
Awesome. So, one thing that I personally feel you can tell a lot by a person through is their music taste. So, what do you listen to on a weekly basis? A weekly to daily basis?
Yeah, that's a great question. I listen to actually a lot of worship music, so that's kind of probably my main jam. Um, and then, but I have such a huge span of music, which is awesome. Pretty much anything besides screamo,
Okay.
um, like I can groove to. It just really depends on my mood.
Okay.
But I have a huge, vast variety of music taste.
Okay. Um, what would you say your guilty pleasure song is, though? Like if you were to get caught listening to this song by someone that you didn't know too well, you'd get embarrassed.
Oh, I'd get in.
Like I can definitely say mine's "Firework" by Katy Perry. Like
Oh, okay, kind of something like that. Oh, uh, classic one probably. Just horsing around. Probably Shakira, "Hips Don't Lie."
okay.
Yeah.
So does this kind of move into personal questions? I guess I don't like that word because I don't think that's what these questions are. But what's something you're curious about right now?
Say that again?
What's something you're curious about right now?
Ooh, right now. Uh, I think there's kind of a lot, especially right now, like just kind of going on within the world and like the media and then our own like personal lives, kind of this like beautiful season of like slowing down, but also this whole thing with like a virus, and then now like this whole racial act going on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am just curious about kind of like what direction we're going in as a country. And most people, when they would say that, they'd say it like in a negative way.
Yeah.
I would say we are like faced with a lot of challenges, but there's so much like good opportunity like on the other side of those negatives. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm just kind of curious of like this unity like coming together, um, of the kind of the way I see like God just kind of unveiling the mask of things, things that have kind of been just hidden.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm curious, and to see like, hey, there's never been like a normal. We kind of used to say
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, I can't wait for normal to be, but like really thinking about like what is normal. I hope we don't go to normal. Like I hope we move beyond this current. That's kind of
Yeah.
what I'm curious to see how that, especially as a valley, like what's that going to look like.
Okay. Yeah. Um, what is some advice you would give to someone that's just moving here to the Wenatchee Valley?
Ooh. Get ready to be like approached like in a good way. If you come from a big city, like, this place is awesome. Most people are super friendly and outgoing. Say hi and wave to people, um, and definitely uh, come get ready to get amazed by just how like beautiful it is in this valley.
Yeah.
So get ready to get active outside.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, what would you say your go-to order at your favorite restaurant is?
Man, uh, that's hard because I feel like I don't have a favorite restaurant. But man, ooh, uh, I really enjoy going to Lamolo's and definitely getting like a pizza um, from there, or their sandwiches are bomb. And it's been so long since I've been there. I'm forgetting the name of the sandwich, but it's like on the tip of my tongue. Mm. Oh, the Super Santa Fe, dude, by Lamolo's is primo. If
All
you ever get
right.
a chance to try that sandwich,
Perfect.
glory on each
um,
slice.
yeah, I love the I can't remember. It's a pork. It's basically all pork calzone that they sell at Lomolo's.
Oh
Super
yes, come
good.
on.
It's so good. Um,
Yes.
uh, what's something that most people underestimate about you?
Ooh, underestimated. Um, I think just maybe like that. I'm like very like intentional.
Mhm.
I'm a very intentional kind of person.
Awesome. What would you say the best compliment you've ever been given is?
Uh, Man, that's another great question. I think that stuff's like so important, just so you can like reflect back on Um, well, yeah, when I was down at my school in North Carolina, I got all these different like encouragements and stuff, and one of them was that just you know, just speaking life like into me, like that you are so capable more than you know, and just encouragement. And I think that one was one of the biggest ones, like because I wasn't like trusting my hands to be able to create these things, but in
Hmm.
fact I was actually making like beautiful colors and stuff when I had no idea of what I was doing. So that was a huge one, just a reminder, like, hey, you're totally capable of this and way stronger than you know.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Um, what's a passion of yours that you rarely share with people?
that I rarely share with people. uh, ooh, passion. That's a great question, Seth. Just because I feel like I there's a lot of things that I like share with her that's like outdoor stuff or the Lord. Um, I'd love to hear yours on this, man.
Um,
Uh,
I was thinking about that the other day. I can't say that I really have one. I I would maybe say writing because if I'm putting something out into the world, whether that be a description piece, I'm using an anonymous name
mm,
attached to it. I'm not using my name.
yeah, I like that. I would say a passion, probably, yeah, probably some form of like definitely journaling, like the Lord's voice
Mhm.
is probably just a passion of mine that I don't like share a ton
Awesome.
about.
Yeah.
That and like um, I've actually gotten really stoked on like stepping more into like artistic kind of things,
Hmm.
of like coming up with ideas or abstracting things. So that would be another one.
Awesome. Yeah. Um, so how do you take your coffee?
How do I take my coffee?
Yes.
Normally black, normally black. But recently, I've been getting black coffee and just doing a little bit of like raw honey
Okay.
in there, and it's actually really good if you get really good coffee.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, so
Oh, you don't? I was gonna ask
no.
you how. No.
No. I'm more of a tea or hot chocolate. Um,
Okay. What
that's
kind of tea?
English breakfast. Anything with matcha in it is
Okay.
usually my jam. I can sip down a good orange spice every now and then, but that's a
Yeah.
really rare thing. Um, and then yeah, that's about it. It's usually where I draw the line on like hot tea. I'm more like iced tea. Oh yeah,
Hmm.
like an Arizona iced tea or something. The black and
Okay.
white one that has actual sugar in it.
Come on.
That's the jam.
What
Um,
about a chai? Have you had a chai tea before? Like a
I
legit.
haven't. I
Ooh.
really haven't. I I probably should. I've heard it's really good. But
Yep.
hot chocolate, if you want the best hot chocolate in town, go to J5 Coffee and get a hot chocolate and then pour just a little bit of cinnamon on top.
Ooh. Actually, I think I have had one before, and then
Yeah,
maybe with like a shot of coffee or something in it. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's where
good.
it's at.
Well, you can come over and I'll make you a chai tea.
I'm down.
All right.
um, so I created a term for the show because I don't like the term Washingtonian. I think it's tacky.
Uh-huh.
Um, so I created a term. It's called a Wenatcheeite. It means someone that lives and breathes Wenatchee. So what does being a Wenatcheeite mean to you?
I think for me, and just like living in so many other like countries and like different places, I think a Wenatcheeite is just like realizing just how and the sense of like community, um, and like the friendliness and the outgoing. Um, I think that's what it means to be like a Wenatchee. It's almost like a sense of pride, but like a good pride in a way, like, hey, I take pride in the place that I live in, and like I really love this place, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of, I guess, my definition of that.
Okay.
What about
Um,
yours, man? That's a, can we ask
um,
that on the show?
yeah. So a Wenatcheeite to me is someone that most of the time I shouldn't say this, but most of the time it's someone that's lived here all their life.
Okay.
And it's someone that just is like so almost like happy they live here.
Oh
Someone
yeah.
that knows a lot of people that live around town. Someone that definitely comes to mind is my dad, Jim Gamble. He moved away from town and came back, and he's still can't get enough of this place. So, I mean,
It's very true.
yeah.
I'm
So,
realizing that.
so something I love to do with the show is hand the interviewer position off to my guests, and they can ask me as many questions about anything they want to me, and I will answer honestly. So, Grant, what do you have for me today?
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
That's first podcast I've ever done, so that's really cool. I want to start there. Like, how did you come up and orchestrate the idea, the thought of having a podcast and interviewing different people?
Yeah. So originally what had started was a fever dream. I love listening to podcasts throughout my day.
Mm-hmm.
I probably listen to more podcasts than I do music at this point. Um, and I got told, because I'm an intern at Sage Hills Church, I got told by my superior, I guess that's the way you say it, Seth Veto, to go test this out and see if this is viable for the church to do a podcast. And so I went to do a podcast with Connor, and it just kind of piled into this of interviews from my hometown. And I didn't think I was going to do anything else with it. And then I started, like, all this happened where I was having to stay inside the house. I'm like, well, I could continue doing this and just do it over a Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing that happened along with it was Nathan Holterhoff. He has to do a thesis because he's a student at the River Academy. His
Okay.
senior thesis was on worship, and he couldn't realistically give the address, or at the time he couldn't realistically give the in-person address for his thesis, so he was doing it over a 6-episode podcast. And that got scrapped from the sounds of it, but I'm still going to try and use it into a different show that I'm trying to plan up. But other than that, it's just kind of just asking people if they'd like to come on. Yeah, loving the conversations and stuff.
Yeah. And another question, like, how do you network or choose like some of the people you ask to be on your show?
Yeah. So it's kind of still how it's going is I look at so before I go into this, I'll show you this. I have a list that's next to my computer of people that I'd like to have on the show, or that have already been on the show. Like a few people, their names are crossed out because they've already been on the show or something like that. But originally what happened was I was just trying to, I know people like Nathan Holterhoff or Connor Metcalf or Cameron Shepard, any of
Mm-hmm.
those kind of people. I just was like, hey, come on this podcast, just talk to me for a while, I'll put it up. And then my dad wanted to come on the show, and now I have people that are actually contacting me to come on the show, like, hey, I want to do this. Josh Tarr, by the owner of American Shoe Shop,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to come on the show at some point. He's really busy right now, and that's kind of just how it's networked into it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So I see you have a couple guitars back there.
Yes, I have 3 guitars that you
How-
can see at least.
Yeah. How long have you been playing the guitar?
Well, 5 years now. I say it's
Oh,
about as long as I've been a Christ follower, so about 5 years. Yeah,
right on, dude. That's awesome.
yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. That's another passion of mine that I don't share that often. Um,
It's playing the
just
guitar.
yeah, just playing the guitar, just kind of keeping to myself about that. I'm not amazing, but I mean, I think I could hold my own if I really had to.
Yeah, I mean, it's all starting somewhere. I think that
Yeah.
comes to more of a definition of like, okay, what is amazing, you
Hmm.
know? So that's rad. Um, and how have you been doing during this season? You still working and stuff?
Yeah, I still work full time at Pacific Aerospace Electronics.
Yeah,
That hasn't stopped. And I mean, I've been good overall. I can't complain about anything. Nothing too tragic has happened. So
that's good.
yeah.
uh, okay, what has been what has the Lord, or just even not even in the Lord, but you could go that route. What have you been learning in this season?
um, Definitely communication skills. That's a big one that I've been learning. Before this, I didn't think I would ever want to project my voice out onto the internet because like just don't like the sound of my own voice basically, and I'm just starting to learn how to like that and getting to start how to get people to talk and stuff. So interesting.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Finding your voice is a legit thing.
Yeah.
So good on you, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are just some of my questions. We'll have to
All
catch
right. Yeah.
up.
um so continuing on with my questions, could you
Hmm.
give a brief rundown of every place that you have visited?
Ooh, every place that I visited,
Yeah.
like in Winnett, just or
No,
all.
like throughout the world.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I've been to Canada, been there for a little while, and or like visited and traveled around Mexico, Costa Rica, gone there like on a missions trip and
Hmm.
stuff. And I went to New Zealand and lived there for a while. And then that also took me to Thailand, and I lived in Thailand for a couple months, and then India for a couple months. Um, then after that, I came back to New Zealand, moved to Australia for about a year,
Hmm.
and then came back here. I feel like there's been in some like other like Sri Lanka and stuff like that for a little while, or crossing borders to different things. But
Yeah.
that's kind of my world experience traveling around.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I loved hearing about your New Zealand experiences. That was a lot of fun to get to learn about.
yeah, man, that was a good time.
Yeah. So Grant, the way I love to end the show is I ask the guests to come with a joke. So what joke do you have for me today?
All right, what joke do I have? Okay, what did the traffic light say to the car?
What?
Don't look, I'm about to change. It's just stupid, but
Well,
I don't have like the uphold glory of like how Cam does, like with the jokes. I had to really be like, okay, I love jokes, like funny jokes, like just saying things, but like come naturally. That one I had to find a joke.
it
So
it still won't beat out what my dad said. He just told horse walks into a bar. Bartender says horse
oh
walks
yeah.
into a bar. Bartender says why a long face, and then he went like this, and it just is funny. I mean,
Jim.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, thank you for listening to Interviews from My Hometown. My name is Seth, and Grant, thank you for coming on the show. It really was a
Hey,
pleasure.
thank you so much for having me, man. It's good to be on here and good to see you and hear from you.
Yeah.
So.
Interviews from My Hometown is sound mixed by Seth Gamble, hosted by Seth Gamble, funded by Seth Gamble, and is produced by Hometown Productions. Music is by Pink on YouTube.